Hi, this is Zach here with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Friday, the 9th of February. Starting off as usual with the FTSE 100, which is testing for support at the rising 50-day line. Normally, bounce off a rising 50-day line is actually a decent signal. Obviously, that takes us, it's happening around the 7,600 level. We have 7,700 as resistance established earlier this week, and if we can break that, then it's up to the top of that rising August trend channel at 7,800. By the end of the month. On the downside, hoping that we won't see anything worse than 75.50 at the 200-day moving average. RSI at 50 or just above 50, so the glass half full rather than half empty at the moment. Moving on to the DAX, where the story's been all about the 17,000 level. We've traded either side of that so far this month. Support there at 16,800 and below that 16,700, the floor of that rising October trend channel and the 50-day moving average. We can get a breakout relatively soon, maybe in the first half of this month. We could head up to 18,000 or 17,900 at that October resistance line projection, and that would be the near-term target. Nightmare scenario is that we break below the 50-day line and have to test down to the old 16,000 200-day moving average area. Moving along to the Dow, and here a picture all about the ongoing breakout, one of the best rallies that one could ever hope to see from the end of October, and the top of that channel there for the Dow 40,000, that's our target. Maybe we get that by the end of this month, but we're factoring in that it might need to be by the end of next month. 38,200, the floor of the channel there. Below that risks the 50-day line, 37,400, but hoping we'll stay on the right side of 38,000. Moving on to Bitcoin, which has done us proud this week, probably about as good as it could have been. We had that consolidation there, rising 50-day line, sideways shuffle along a rising 50-day line, and then the breakout through 43,800. Above that, obviously looking for a retest of last month's resistance at 49,000, and then hopefully, best case scenario, would be up to 52,000 by the end of this month. Want to see the share at the crypto rather stay on the right side of 43,900 or 800, the old resistance, which has just been broken. On to gold, which has died a death over the recent past, but at least it is on the right side of the 50-day line, so providing support intraday just below that 50-day line, 2043. Basically, while we're above the 50-day line, looking for a retest of 2100 by the end of this month. RSI just on 51, which gives it a half full look in terms of the technicals. Moving along to the stocks, starting off with Artermis, which has come back to life now. Bounced off the floor of this falling trend channel from back in August. Initial target here, 1.5p. Want to see an end-of-day close, ideally above the 50-day line at 1.07 for the end of today. And obviously we've gapped up as well, so it's a bear trap island reversal, gapping down last month and then gapping up this week. Moving along to Acuity, which has been disappointing, and one can say, obviously, we're going to a new low. That is disappointing, despite all the contract news. The old November support, 4.2p. Want to see an end-of-day close basically above that June resistance line there at 4.3 pence to give us a target towards the 200-day line at 6p, maybe by the end of this month, but early days yet. We're really looking at this on the basis that there's a lower low but higher RSI trace, so the bullish divergence could actually turn this around. Nice price action for Argo blockchain at the moment, and if I can get the shares on the screen, it'll be even better. Here we've had two unfilled gaps to the upside this week, which is a very strong signal. Want to see an end-of-day close above the rising 50-day line at 16.75. We're basically looking for this market to head up to fill that January gap at 27 pence by the end of this month, while we remain above the second gap there at 15 pence, above 15, looking for 27. The stock which is racing at the moment is Filtronic, and it's actually hit both our near-term targets, done on the same day. First one was around 32 pence, second one around 35 pence, and that leaves us scrambling to try and find the next target, which should be along the lines of what I'm going to draw in a second, which is resistance line projection from early last year. That resistance line projection heading for 46 pence, and we're looking for that by the end of this month, while we remain above the previous target at 32 pence. On to Futura, which had a sparky price action this week. Here we've had Bear trap gap reversal with a rising 50-day line, and we've broken the initial highs of early this week at 40p. Above 40p, looking for 46 pence initially, and then up to as high as 62 pence, and that July resistance line projection by the end of next month. Ideally, the shares stay on the right side of recent support, 36, 37 pence, the levels there. On to Great Southern, which has been quite a decent situation, wide rising trend channel there. Fundamentals tend to be quite good here as well, and that rising trend channel there from the this time last year, top of the channel there at basically 4.7 pence, and we're looking for that by the end of next month, while we hold above that rising 50-day moving average at 2.4 pence. On to Hemogenyx, which was rising before today's FDA news, and has managed to blow the lights out in terms of that 5.36 green resistance line target. We had various targets on the way up, 3.2, and then best case would be 5.3. That's been done now, so the thing is really just to see whether the shares can hit that level, 5.3, over the next few days. If you're a fan of the shares and looking for the next level up, I will attempt to extract it, and at the moment the favoured area would be probably a line of resistance heading towards the 10 pence level by the end of next month. But obviously at the moment we need to settle above 4 pence to get just below the gap there, so it's basically above 4 looking for 10, but ideally the initial thing there, an achievable thing there, is a retest of 5.3 pence. Moving on to the Aquis market, and one of the best, one of the leading lights there is KR1, obviously helped by the whole crypto elevation that we've got at the moment. Rising trend channel there from back in June last year. That is heading for £1.20 by the end of next month, and obviously there's another resistance line there from 2022, also pointing to £1.20. Upside value while we hold above that sharply rising 50-day line at 83 pence. On to a stock which I don't think anybody covers at all, Nexteq, but here we've had the second gap now in the recent past. We already had the consolidation of a rising 50-day line and then the gap, so basically the recent impulse here was 120 for the longs. Now we've broken the 200-day line. We're looking for the initial target here, 147, over the next week or so, and then maybe by the end of next month as high as £1.90. And that June resistance line projection, obviously, if that happened, it'd be quite a coup, at least if you are a chartist. On to Renalytix, which I managed to avoid this morning, which is obviously doesn't look like a great thing to have done, but shares up 30%. They've obviously had a very bad and rocky ride, but we've got uptrend line in the RSI window, and an end of day close above the 50-day line around 14 pence could at least be enough to give the shares a retest of the January resistance there at 19 pence by the end of this month. Ideally, we at least get an end of day close above recent neckline resistance at 12 pence, but the bear trap gap reversal and holding above 12 would be the thing for Renalytix. On to United Oil and Gas, which has been one of the more painful situations in terms of the price action, but here it looks like we've got a relief rally for the bulls. We managed to bounce with bullish divergence, so lower lows for February, but slightly higher RSI trace, and then looking for an initial target here up to a penny by the end of next month, which is the top of that falling trend channel there from back in April. But the key thing here would be to close above the 50-day moving average and the latest gap 0.53. That would be the sort of a sign that the shares are on their way, at least for an intermediate rally. Finishing off with Woodbois, which had funding news during the week, and it looks as though the market is happy about that. Rising 200-day line was noted yesterday. We wanted an end-of-day close above the 50-day line, which looks like we're going to get at 0.82, and that gives us a reasonably easy target, 1.04, by the end of this month. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.